Hey Nick, how's it going?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, so you know how I've been moving for pretty much the entirety of eternity, right?
Seems that way.
Yeah, well, last night we ended up moving a whole bunch of stuff to the new place, and I was basically working from 8 a.m. until 9, no, 10 p.m., and I ended up just sleeping like a log.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I woke up this morning in the fireplace.
Ah!
Yeah, well, we don't have it yet. We don't have it yet.
What's up, everybody? We don't have it yet. I am Nick. That over there is my friend Wyatt, who's going to be hosting things once again with me. We don't have it yet. We don't know what we're doing. We just went into this talking about how we don't know what we're doing, and we're going to work on it for you. How are you, good sir?
I actually am pretty tired. Aside from the terrible punchline to that joke, it was all pretty factual. How are you doing?
I think I had a much more relaxing holiday weekend than it sounds like you did, as I'm looking at a recording of you right now with a large collection of boxes and assorted piles of stuff behind you.
Yeah, that's just normal, though.
Oh, right. You just live like a hoarder. I forgot. Yeah. That's where the stuff actually goes. Got it.
Yep. I live in a pile of boxes.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be your life for a while, I imagine, now that you're moved, is which tub did I put that in before we left?
Yeah, I had that issue this morning getting ready for work and realizing I had no idea where I packed my work laptop.
That's a big one. That's an important one that you might want to, keep track of.
Yeah, it was in a good spot. It was in a smart spot. I always assumed that I put things in the stupidest spots, so I started looking in dumb spots before I found it sitting next to my personal computer.
Nice. Who would have expected it to be there?
Past Wyatt apparently is growing up because present Wyatt still has no idea what he's doing.
I did something actually probably worse than that during a move, is that I kept the work laptop in the right place, had it ready to go when I needed it, set it up, opened her up, and realized that I didn't have the USB token that I needed to log into the virtual network, and didn't find it for, I think, 3 weeks. So that was not an awesome time in Nick's work life. The IT team got pretty upset with me, and yeah, that's when I had just moved to California from across the country too, and COVID was just starting to hit, so everything was upside down. Anyway, going past, did you do anything besides move this weekend, or is that pretty much the top to bottom of just grabbing stuff, piling it, and moving it from one place to another?
I have a feeling I did do something this weekend. I cannot think of it off the top of my head because it has been such a blur. I've been off from work since Thursday, I believe, to try and get most of our stuff moved. It would have been probably smart at some point for us to have just rented a U-Haul and taken everything over, but we did make one big trip last week and figured we could get the rest of it in both of our cars over here and just take some trips back and forth. And now, a week and a half into that, I'm realizing...
Trips plural. How many trips are we talking about between two vehicles probably here?
I personally, I think, have taken 9 or 10 trips since Thursday. So... I see the light at the end of the tunnel. After
it's not far though, right? We should at least point that out.
Well, I mean, what do you consider far from what? I mean, New Hampshire far and Chicago far are probably two different things.
Yeah, I just imagine you as being in, never-ending wilderness surrounded by woods on all sides, and
I mean, that's pretty accurate. It's about 35 minutes one way, so I'm looking at a little over an hour round trip plus.
Oh, okay, so it's a fair distance then. Yeah.
It's not close, but it'll be nice. It'll be nice when we're done. But I after work today, I got one more trip I got to do, and then I'm just about to the point where it's cleaning up the old place and wiping my hands of it, and then figuring out where everything is going to go here, which is always the fun part.
That is the fun part, though. I just did it, and I'm doing it still, like a year later after getting into this house. I just call it nesting, and it's great. That's probably what the term might be. I don't know. Like, yeah, this
I
place
mean,
is now
we'll go with
mine,
it.
and I'm gonna make it mine, kind of thing, and do all the stuff that I want to do, and hang the stuff where I want to hang it, and just yeah, I love that part. That's the
I,
good part.
yeah, I gotta find the stuff to do that. That's
I
the
was gonna
problem.
say, yeah, you need to like remove yourself from the actual experience of moving slightly, locate all the actual important stuff, work laptops, coffee machines, that sort of thing. Well, you don't drink coffee, so that doesn't help, but that would be a crucial
Yeah.
part of my life. And then you can start, oh, I found this box full of old, framed prints or stuff I want to hang on the wall or figures or shelving or here's where my Blu-ray collection's gonna go. Here's where I'm gonna put my games that I haven't sold. All that good stuff. That part's fun. I like that part anyway. If you're doing it with dishes in the kitchen, not so much. But when it's your nerd stuff, that part's fun.
Yeah, I got the issue of also recently closing up my bakery of 5 years, so I have a whole bunch of baking stuff that I've brought with me and trying to find ways to probably downsize that because I am no longer running a commercial enterprise. I might be in the future, but as of right now, I don't think I need 15 baking sheets and
Uh,
12 pie pans and
well, it depends how much storage room you got in the new place.
there's a reason why I said I need to
Oh,
downsize.
okay, there you go.
But so how have you been? I saw yesterday on Blue Sky that you busted out something that I am super excited to hear you talk about, your root beer brats.
Oh, the Cheese Castle brats from the yep. So for anyone that didn't hear, I'm not even sure if we talked about it on here or if we talked about it on the extra
I think we talked about
napkins.
it last week.
But yeah, so on the way back from a couple weeks ago, I went to Mars Cheese Castle and always go through their homemade sausage section, and this time they had root beer brats. And I mean, come on, you're not going to see that and not want to try it, right? Unless you're, immediately turned off by how disgusting you think it sounds. But I thought it sounded wonderful. So last night was finally the night I thought them and just chucked them on the grill. Just did them in like just brown some onions, in butter slowly, caramelize those. Did them on a bolillo roll, and simple, simple, simple. They're super good, and it's not as much of like a novelty food as I might have been expecting,
Yeah,
which is probably in a good way. So what I assume they do is take the syrup from their root beer that they make there, or whatever concentrate it is, and just mix it into the ground sausage meat before they case the sausages. That's my assumption.
that would be my guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And it definitely there's a root beer flavor there, but it was kind of like you have those root beers that are a little more sarsaparilla or a little more herbaceous kind of thing
Yep.
versus something that's a little sweeter, like maybe I don't know A&W is maybe an example of that. It was definitely more on the A&W sweeter side. So if you just like imagine just a really good homemade bratwurst, honestly, that was really nicely spiced, but just with this current running through of like a mild root beer flavor. And weird as though it may sound, I thought it worked really well. It was just
I
kind of
mean,
a
that
subtle
sounds delicious
sweetness.
to me.
Yeah, and then when you combined it with like, caramelized onions, they're a little more sweet. And I was kind of at a loss on what to do in the topping department, so I didn't, and I opted to just eat mine with the onions, and it was all like the sausage was super juicy, so it didn't really cry for anything. But I had, the various deli mustard and German mustard there, and I think my son had Guy's donkey sauce on the table. Uh, but a la carte, it was actually still pretty good. What would you put on it? I don't know. You tell me what you would do with it, given the opportunity to try some root beer brats.
That's a good question. It would, yeah, I don't know. Something like that, I might uh cook it in a little bit of maple syrup. If you're already leaning into the sweetness, I feel like it might give you a little bit of a contrast to the sarsaparilla.
So yeah, I was thinking like if I had root beer on hand, which I just happened not to in the house, I should have like braised the onions
braised
in
it in the root beer, yeah.
Yeah. But I just didn't feel like going out to do it. But I feel like grilling the brats is basically the only real way to go, unless you were gonna chop up the meat and put it into something. But I'm not sure at that point the root beerness would really even come through.
Yeah, I feel like with that, I think you went with the right move. That you want the root beer to play, so I don't think you really want to have like a mustard or any condiment that's going to cut through what you're what they're trying to do. Because otherwise, just get a regular brat and dress that.
Yeah, I was gonna say and put root beer sauce on a regular brat, but yeah, that's an idea. We need to come out with root beer sauce.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be that hard. Just
reduce
take
the
a
hell
can
out
of
of some root beer.
Yeah, take a can of root beer, pour it into a pan, and just simmer it down until it becomes a nice sticky syrup.
So I've been looking for an excuse to finally break out the kitchen-made sausage making attachment again, because I've had my KitchenAid mixer, gosh, probably like 12 or 13 years at this point, and if I'm honest, it really only comes out usually around the holidays when my wife is doing a lot of baking, and I'll usually find an excuse to do something with it. But it takes up a ton of counter space, it's bulky, it's heavy, so it lives most of its life under the counter, unfortunately. But I do have the sausage making attachment that I believe we got as like a wedding present or something, and I think I've only used it once. I'm quite ashamed to say. So I think I'm a little inspired though. I'd like to give it a shot again. And what if I made, I've had the Mars Cheese Castle root beer brats. Maybe it's time for Nick's root beer brats. Or
I like that idea.
Or Wyatt's suggestion of sausage. For assigning each other games and TV shows and movies, perhaps you can tell me what I need to make. That could be even more fun for the audience. And
you could do a let's play on the whole soda scenario and do an orange soda brat.
Orange soda brat.
I mean, it might be terrible, but
I mean, you put orange juice in your mojo pork marinade, right?
Yeah.
So it could work. A lot of orange juice goes into pork for Mexican food a lot of times.
I don't think it would be that bad. It might. I think it sounds weirder than it would be.
Well, I think like a cola one has probably been done.
That sounds. How about a Faygo bomb pop sausage?
Oof, now we're getting into expert level mode here. I think maybe ease into the pool a little bit more. Like root beer is, a good sweet savory combination flavor. What about something like we were just talking about black cherry the other week? I feel like a black cherry sausage could be interesting.
I think you're gonna need to start a spreadsheet here, and we're gonna have Nick's sausage rankings.
Yeah, well, we gotta say, writing any of these things down that we talk about would probably be a helpful thing to do, so we can touch back on them. But
yeah, that's for people that are organized. That's not us.
Yeah, fair enough. Once your life is actually settled down and back to normal in some capacity whatsoever, it might be a little easier too. But on the whole, root beer brats, huge thumbs up. I'm impressed. Like, they did it to the point where it was actually a good food item, and if I fed it to someone without them knowing what it was, they would probably just comment, "Hey, that's a really tasty sausage that you made," versus like, this is clearly only a novelty product that exists only for those reasons. Like if it was a, got cinnamon red hot sausage or, fireball sausage or something like that, which I'm sure exists already too.
A Malort sausage.
See, this is the stuff that we'll have to really get into on that. But did you get to order any cool takeout like while you're moving all weekend and you're tired? Can you at least be like, let's just get an awesome pizza?
So I actually just did a quick glance back at my calendar because, as I had just said, if I don't write anything down, it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
I completely forgot that Thursday, which I had taken off to do a move, it was actually a surprise party for one of my friends down in Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, totally forgot about that. It was a lot of fun.
Pieces of this.
Yeah. So we went to the F1 arcade down in Boston, which is a pretty cool little setup. It's a bar. I wouldn't call it a barcade, because the only game they have is the F1 arcade game, but they have full race simulator setups, seats with haptic feedback, and the seats actually tilt as you're
Oh
turning or
wow.
anything. Yeah.
Is this like a
Um,
commercial product that I'll see in
yep.
other arcades?
I,
Or is
I
this
think
localized to just like this is an F1 simulator and you can only experience it here at the F1 place that we opened in these cities kind of thing?
as far as I know, I mean, it all looks like I mean, it's a little higher than like personal grade stuff, but I don't think it's anything that would just be strictly. I believe there are quite a few F1 arcades around the country. So while
Right.
that brand, I think obviously will be only seen at those locations, I don't think it's something I think you could probably see in other locations. Uh, it was a lot of fun. I'm happy to say that I finished at the top of the pile for the day. Uh, I
I've only
still
I've
get
seen you
those.
I've seen you drive Daytona USA and Ferrari 355 Challenge, and you crushed the living shit out of me in both of those. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that I think you're good at driving games.
Well, I don't know if you know this about my family, but I do have driving in my
You
blood.
you have a bit of a racing lineage. Yeah, you can tell people about that.
Yeah, no, my dad, he raced mini stock cars, which are four-cylinder little bangers on I think it was a quarter-mile track up in northern New Hampshire.
Is that kind
I
of like the
spent
is that oval dirt track kind of racing
No, it wasn't
stuff,
dirt.
or
It
is
was
it
oval, but it
okay?
was a oval asphalt track. Every Saturday night during the summer. I think he started when I was 10. Actually, maybe a little bit younger, but he raced for a buddy, and then he got his own car and raced. And his rookie year, he won the championship. And
It
yeah,
is in
yeah,
your blood. It is in
I
your
know.
blood.
So he won a championship. I think he finished second in a championship another year, and then probably a decade or so ago, he bought a new race car, got back into it again, but he just wanted to go do it for fun because it's a lot, when you're subjecting your entire summer to bringing the car to the track, running it. If anything happens to it, you have to spend the week fixing it because it's not like we had a crew. It wasn't a
Right,
race
yeah,
team.
that kind of takes over a lot of your free time, I imagine.
Yeah.
Plus,
So
you
he'd
have to
come home from
trailer, you
work
have to
and go work
trailer it
on
and
it.
everything too,
Yep.
and
Yep.
yeah.
Trailered himself, but we got back into it and he was still I'd say I think one of the summers he won 5, 6, 7 races that he showed up to. So like, not saying I'm a trip off the old block because I'm playing video game racing, but hey, I can pretend I am.
Well, so have you had the opportunity to like track drive cars and stuff?
I took some hot laps in his car. This was probably 20 years ago or so. It coincided or it conflicted with baseball. And I
Mm,
was big into baseball all through school and stuff. So if I was going to do it, I would have had to have given up the sport. I started playing at 3 and ended
fair.
up playing through high school and everything.
It was probably
It was
pretty cool
fun.
as a kid though, because you got the constant like working on the car, learning your way around the internals and everything, and probably picking up a lot of mechanical know-how along the way, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm mechanically inclined by any real stretch of the imagination, but I do know, I think, my way around basic vehicles, and of course, buying my
I was gonna say you work on
vintage.
your van all the
eh,
time. You know more than I do.
That's necessity. That's
Yeah.
having to teach myself how to do it because I'm not one of the van owners that has all the money in the world to pay someone else to do everything.
That's a
But
necessity in car work is like when I scrape the side of my car on my garage entrance and then end up doing Bondo work and paint work via YouTube because I refuse to pay someone $1,000 for my own stupidity kind of thing. That's necessity. I still point yours towards more enjoyment kind of thing.
it is fun. It's fun until something stupid breaks, and then you got to deal with it. Which is where I'm actually sitting with the van right now. I blew a coolant hose on my trip. I can't remember if I'd mentioned it or not, but so I got some work to do. I've got the hoses I got to replace, and there's a whole process. And maybe once I get a chance to either take care of it or just swallow my pride and send it over to my Volkswagen mechanic, depending on what he would charge me to do it. Because as you know, I don't really have a ton of time right now to work on this stuff. So yeah, we going back to the topic at hand. We did F1 Boston. Had some flatbread pizza there because I had some, light fares that they served as well. Got a nice flatbread pizza. This was the day after I had ordered, and I don't know if this was on last podcast or not either. I had ordered myself a large pepperoni, sausage, ricotta cheese, hot honey pizza because I deserve it.
Fucking A.
And I think I ate 3/4 of that pizza between that day and before I went to Boston, because if you've got pizza, you might as well eat it. It's
well,
it's
you were
not gonna
probably
stay forever.
you're calorie deficient from a week's worth of moving that you needed to indulge.
Needed the sustenance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we went to F1. We got another, I think it was a pepperoni flatbread pizza. There was some, a little bit of steak, and then I think there was some type of like Cajun shrimp, which I'm not a seafood person at all. So
I am.
Which is fine. It means that other people can have more of it. That's the way I look at things. And after that, I know I had mentioned to you that we were going to the Museum of Ice Cream in Boston, which
isn't a real thing, or maybe it is, but it's still a pop-up in all these cities, and not an actual museum dedicated to ice cream.
No, it's an amusement. So actually, before we went there, we stopped over at Shake Shack, which I haven't been to Shake Shack in 15 years or so. I know neither of us are really big fast food people, but we figured we'd stop over there, and I saw they had a banana pudding milkshake, which sounded...
you're speaking my language.
Yes.
Do you know this about me? That banana pudding is... The banana cream pie and banana pudding are like banana pudding and wafers. Like that's up there in the top tier of Nick dessert lists. I mean, we're talking at least top 3.
That must be why you enjoyed the banana pudding cookies that I used to make.
Yeah, they were the best ever. Oh yeah, so we've definitely discussed this. I'm a moron. But anyway, back to your milkshake.
Yeah, no, the milkshake was what you described. It was a basically banana cream pie, banana pudding in a milkshake. It had real banana in it. It had crushed up vanilla wafers. It was...
Oh yeah, well that's the best. It was when they actually put the real, like an actual banana in there, and actual wafers, and not flavoring powder.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I enjoyed that. So we ended up going to the Museum of Ice Cream after, which the great thing about it is there was a lot of ice cream to eat. So while it was a novelty, it was an amusement. There actually was some interesting, tidbits, facts about ice cream.
I'm pretty much speaking from a total ignorant point of view here, which is how I do most things. No, so I remember looking it up, like maybe it was my wife saw something about it, or maybe it was when we first got to the Chicagoland area, and I'm like, there's an entire museum dedicated to ice cream? This is the greatest thing I've ever heard of. We have to go immediately. And then found out that it's more of like a pop-up thing that's all over most major cities, I think. And so what is it? You kind of is it a walkthrough tour with interesting facts about ice cream, and then you try various ice creams throughout the whole thing, or what?
Yeah, that was basically what it was. So it 100% is geared towards younger people.
It's like an Instagram thing, right? Like it's those types of opportunities.
Younger people, I mean children. Like
fair.
Meant, I mean, we had fun. We were in our late 30s, early 40s there, but when you're with a bunch of friends, it's kind of fun to just be idiots.
Of course.
So it was like you said, you basically walked through the quote unquote museum, and there was a section where everyone came up with their ice cream name, and a few friends didn't realize that we would be saying our ice cream names out loud to a room full of children and parents. So
I think where this is going already.
Yeah, we had a big lick. We had a sad farty. I think we had a mad farty. I was Panucci, the only one that took the name of ice cream seriously. But hey, and Panucci is a brown sugar fudge. If anyone doesn't know what
I'm
that
really
is.
glad you clarified that for the audience because that went completely over my head.
Well, Panucci was my uncle, not to get too far off track, my uncle used to own an ice cream shop on Cape Cod, and that was one of the ice creams that flavors that he made, which was my favorite ever, was Panucci ice cream. Uh, it was really good.
Isn't
And
this like a super famous scoop shop that was in one of the food documentaries that we like or something? I
yes, yeah, no,
recall?
it was on the, I think it was called the Ice Cream Show on PBS back in the mid 90s or so. It also was named one of
The
the,
dude that we like, right?
yeah,
The
God, I can't think of his name right now. I don't have it yet.
He did the diners documentary
Yep,
and the hot
I
dog
think he did the hot dog
documentary.
show.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Well,
I think it's called an ice cream show. It's on
yeah.
PBS.
Fair
I would
enough.
say look that up. But yeah, it's Four Seas Ice Cream in Centerville, New Hampshire, or Centerville, New Hampshire, Centerville, Mass, on Cape Cod.
It's like a
It's
local landmark icon type of place that's been there forever, I assume.
yes, it used to be an old blacksmith shop, I believe, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and got turned into an ice cream shop, I believe, in like the 1930s, and has been running since then. The claim to fame was it was named one of the top 10 best ice cream shops in the United States by USA Today.
Would you concur?
Oh, I mean, I'm super biased, and yes,
Yeah.
I would concur. I know my uncle's big claim to fame was the Kennedy family used to absolutely love their ice cream, and they
Nice.
would call in their orders, and he would always volunteer to bring it to the Kennedy compound. And he would, so, he would always talk about that, getting to go see the Kennedys and drop off their peach ice cream, and it was a lot of fun.
I mean, you have racing and sweets in your blood, really.
You're really starting to see the
What
building of Wyatt.
the full Wyatt? Yeah.
So yeah, we walked through the museum. There's kind of, we came up with our names, and then it was a little area where it was like, open these things to look at these facts. So like I said, it was very like child centric, but as soon as you walked in, they gave you an ice cream bar, which I think was like a chocolate black cherry bar. They didn't tell you what flavor it was, but yeah, it was really good. And then we went on some fake, the cream liner, I believe is what it was called. And there was, it was this fake airline. We all sat in these airplane seats, and they brought out a pineapple vanilla soft serve swirl, which was really good.
Did anyone raise their hand at any point and say that you're making me read my inappropriate ice cream name out to the group, and everybody's rolling their eyes at me, and then you dare bring me on something called the cream liner with a straight face?
I feel like then they still would have looked at me and been like,
not everybody thinks like that, you weird twisted bastard.
After that, there was, I think it was called Funway Park, which was, we spent a lot of time in this room. It was just
great.
it was a bunch of just like little carnival style games. There was a giant gumball machine looking container that had a bunch of, I don't have it with me, I actually took one, don't tell them, little like baseball shaped stress balls, and you would take them, and there was like a skee ball, there was like an accuracy competition, and it was just you scoop a bunch of balls out of this gumball machine, and you just throw them at the games or whatever, and they had pneumatic tubes that brought them all the way back into the gumball machine, which we spent 10 minutes there just playing these games. There were no points. There was like, you didn't win anything.
Fun is the point.
Exactly, and it was fun. And then we went into another room that had a set of 3 like bells, like you'd see at a hotel, a front desk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "What's this?" And I ding the bell, and all of a sudden, this little door turns around, and there's a chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich. And I was like, "Ooh!" So I ate that, and then I waited like 10 seconds.
Immediately ding the bell again.
I dinged it again, and another one came, and then we went and explored.
What, Pavlov's dog kind of thing?
That was the joke that my friends made, because I am not kidding, had at least 10 of those ice cream sandwiches. It was funny because there were children who were going up to it, and you know how children, mostly aren't the most patient people.
Yeah.
So, they'd go up and
ding, ding. Yeah.
And nothing would come around. 'Cause, like, you had to just ding it, and wait. So all these children that are just mashing the bell, nothing's happening, and they're like, "This isn't working." And then I'd come over, I'm like,
You
"Ding!"
fools. Yes.
So we did
Oh,
that.
looks like I got ice cream. Enjoy trying to make it work.
It was really good. It was surprisingly good. I'm sure it's probably just some off-the-shelf ice cream with, off-the-shelf mini chocolate chip cookies or whatever. I mean, it didn't look like the mini Chips Ahoy or anything. It did look like they were made in-house. But then at the end, there was a deconstructed sweet lobster roll ice cream.
I did see you share a picture of this, and I was hoping you would talk about this because I didn't hear anything about it, and I was, I think, curious as most people would be.
Yeah, it was
So deconstructed. Do they have what, celery, mayo, and lobster ice creams all put together? Or something?
so deconstructed in the sense that it was a couple dollops of ice cream
Okay.
and then a finger roll, just a regular finger roll. It wasn't like I think it would have been better if it was like a Hawaiian sweet roll or something other than just a basic, white roll. But
Yeah.
of course, if they're going for the New England lobster roll, which is just done on a New England style hot dog bun, I think that was kind of what
Right.
they were going with.
What makes a New England style top split, right?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yes, and I will fight anyone that doesn't like a New England style hot dog roll. That's my favorite roll because you can get nice grill marks on both sides of those. Those are
It's true.
those are
Good point.
sweet.
Plus, it does actually possibly provide an argument that it's better for like topping holding,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
because it's on holding up. You get it on top.
You got more kind of undercarriage to support everything, and when you apply as many toppings as I'm sure you and I do, that might be the better route. But continue. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. So the ice cream itself was it was a sweet cream. It wouldn't say it was vanilla. It was like a sweet cream ice cream.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
With imitation crab in it.
Fish lips, huh?
Yeah.
Crab with a K.
Yeah. It was fine. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't like seafood. Yeah, it wasn't even lobster. That's the thing. Like it was.
Yeah, I mean, you could get away with calling it the lobster roll ice cream thing here in the Midwest, but if you're doing it in Boston and you're giving people fish lips, I feel like you're reaching a little bit because these people know what lobster roll should be, and I don't know.
So yeah, it was disappointing in the sense that like I don't eat seafood to begin with, so I didn't really care for it.
Yeah. Hey,
my friends I was with,
kudos.
Yeah, you got to. My friends that I was with also tried it, and they were like, "Yeah, it was ice cream. Like it didn't taste like a lobster roll. It was really just tasted like sweet cream. Like you could taste a little bit of hints of imitation crab, but."
Well, I would hope it would be subtle in that respect. It's funny you mentioned the sweet cream though, because I have a custard place. I don't know how long it's actually been here in the area, but it's called Comet Custard, and it's very much seems to be a staple, where people go on a Friday and Saturday night in the summertime kind of thing. And they're only a seasonal business, but they just recently had a flavor of the week that was sweet corn frozen custard. Which
I would eat that.
It sounds like it would be weird, and it wasn't at all, honestly. Like it was just that slight little sweet corn flavor, but it mostly tasted, like you said, like sweet cream, and it was actually really good.
Have you tried, I believe hers makes it, it's a sweet corn potato chip?
Yeah. Now, those were a case of eat one, that's pretty good. Eat two,
yes.
Yep, pretty tasty. Like, see what they were going for. That's clever. It does taste like corn. And number three, you're like, okay, ready to put that bag away for another week or kind of thing, and maybe I'll come back to it. It's not something I could sit there and nosh on at a party or something like that.
Yeah, that was my same reaction to that. First one was like, oh, that's fun. Yeah, then two or three, and you're like, nah, I'm good.
I credit where due. Like, hers, probably a little low on the chip totem pole as far as the sales rankings go, and they seem to branch out and really be going for it lately. So they had like at the same time as the sweet corn ones came out, you had like barbecue ribs, I think.
I just bought those last week.
Actually. There you go. And there was like a habanero something, and I can't recall what it was, but it had a decent heat to it, as I remember. My entire chip world is basically following the flavors of Clancy's at this point because they're still only like $1.50 a bag max. What else
I'm
do
a
I
little
need?
jealous of your. I'm still jealous of your Aldi adventure last week. I popped into mine and there was nothing on closeout, nothing on clearance. I didn't get any 5-cent bags of popcorn.
So
It
the
was very
popcorn was
disappointing.
gone the next time I went, and it was to a different Aldi. So if that makes you feel any better, I didn't score any more. But I am set for mayonnaise for like the next year and a half. I could say that because at 25 cents a bottle, that was not much of a debate at all. It doesn't expire, right? I mean, it's got the vacuum seal on it. It can live in a
Yeah, just
cabinet.
don't open it.
Yeah, right. It'll be fine.
So I think last week we dove into a segment that we were kind of batting around,
Of
and
not having it yet, as far as what the
yes,
show is or what it's meant to be.
yes, and
Format.
I think we've talked about it a little bit more, you know, peek behind the curtain. We've talked about it a little bit more off the show. We're still trying to come up with it, but I think we're in a pretty good place where we can finish hashing it out. And then I think if we give each other our assignments, I guess we could say for the next week or so,
Yep.
I think we almost have that yet.
Yeah, well, I'd say bear with us because there's obviously going to be some growing pains as we figure out what works and what doesn't. But if you want to go over the basic concept as I think we've outlined it, and then I can chime in anywhere. I guess
Yeah,
that's
no,
fine. Yeah.
absolutely. So we had discussed before, just a quick recap for anyone that either doesn't remember or didn't listen to the last episode, or maybe you're just coming in on this episode as the first one, and that's really weird. But hey, I
Welcome.
appreciate you listening to us. So the idea is basically both Nick and myself have this affliction where we love to, I guess, hoard both physical and digital media, whether it be video games, music, movies, TV shows. We can just never get our fill of these things. However, in the day and age of being adults with responsibilities and jobs and families,
Mm-hmm.
we may not necessarily have time to enjoy the fruits of our labor. So, the idea that we were batting around last week is that we will give each other access to our backlogs, whether it be TV shows, movies, our Steam libraries, our physical video games, physical Blu-rays, what have you,
Mm-hmm.
and we will pick something for the other person to do. And so it's either, I assign Nick a TV show. He doesn't necessarily have to watch all 7 seasons of this show.
Right. Absolutely. But
Or if Nick assigns me a video, a 45-hour video game, the chances of me being able to play 45 hours of a video game within the next week are literally less than zero.
yeah, I'm not
So,
gonna. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do things that would be in bad faith like that, unless the other party was actually like expressed a sincere interest in trying that. Like I might say that about a Yakuza title for you or something like that,
yeah.
knowing that you have time coming up. But yeah, on the regular, I'm not gonna say beat Final Fantasy 15 before next week or anything like that. And yeah, just to add on to what you were saying, I think at some point, in Wyatt and I chatting, we realized that not only do we have kind of similar educational and employment backgrounds, but tend to share a brain on a lot of things. And this is kind of like what blossomed our friendship in a lot of ways, I would say.
Yeah.
Was just one of us saying, "Oh, have you seen, played, watched, what have you? Oh, you'd love it, man. Oh, dude, you would love that." And going back to "We Don't Have It Yet," which is an obscure quote from the show Detroiters, I think one of the first things you recommended that I had to see was Detroiters, which is now like easily one of my favorite shows in the space of like a couple years. I've watched them a million times. And yeah, I got rid of cable in like 2010. And so if somebody didn't tell me about it, or it wasn't kind of like a cultural event like Game of Thrones or something, I was not aware. So all those great IFC shows and a lot of Comedy Central shows from the whole tens era just
Yep.
passed me by completely. So Wyatt says, check out this show Detroiters, and it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Okay, he knows me. He obviously clearly understands the stuff that I'm into. We should keep this going. And that's, I think, even without there being a weekly podcast or anything like that, we've pretty much just kept doing that, right?
Yeah, that's
Be it movies,
pretty
games, or
accurate.
what have you. Just because we, I think, share fairly similar tastes, so it's pretty easy to say if something was in my wheelhouse, you would probably enjoy it. But that's not to say it's universal. The Water
No, I
Boy is a
like the
good
Water
example
Boy.
of that. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, we'll just kind of take it from there, and I guess the idea would be one game or property assigned to the other, but we'll switch off. Well, you said it. You you go into that, but you could explain it better than I can.
Yeah, so the idea was to try to expand what we're doing is we will switch off. So let's say this week I assign a TV show that I'd like Nick to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Nick would then assign me a game that he would like me to play.
Yes.
So we can then next week come back, discuss those things, and then the following week I'll suggest a game for Nick to play. Nick will suggest media, movie, whatever for
And
me to
onward
watch.
we go. Yeah.
Yes. And
hopefully the
think,
audience should get something out of this, unless they've played every single thing or watched every single thing that we have. But maybe they'll be able to agree or disagree with our thoughts on things.
So you mentioning the audience, I think we had discussed this a little bit off, but I think in the future, once we get this kind of going, I think it would be a cool thing to open it up to listeners. You know, if we find a place
Absolutely.
to store our backlogs, because obviously if someone's like, you need to play this brand new game that is $70 right now and neither of you have, like, that's not really the idea right now.
Yeah, that's worth clarifying too, I think, is the idea is not just cleaning out backlog, but like the fact that Wyatt said, you know, adults trying to live in the world, free time is at a premium a lot of times. And whereas when I was a kid, I dreamed of being able to get all those games and movies and things and had the time to dump into them. Now I'm an adult and I tend to acquire them with the best laid intentions of playing, watching, what have you, and then life tends to get in the way somewhere along. But you keep doing it and keep acquiring new things, and there keep being Steam sales and, you know, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, it's I think there's an element of choice paralysis for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Which is a real thing as far as I'm concerned. I've written about it. So when you have all these options in front of you, it's daunting to say, okay, I'm going to start this one thing, especially if it's like a game that, you know, is going to take a little bit of time or anything like that. So if somebody else tells me, no, this is what you have to do, it makes me accountable and like, okay, I will just dive into that because that's my thing for this week. And I love that even outside of this show. It'll keep me getting off the ballot trail.
This plays into this being therapy for you, Nick, is
right,
you're being held accountable, and it's going to be stuff that you can use in the rest of your life by playing a video game or watching a TV show. You can tell your wife, you know, I need to do this because this is therapy.
Yep. So, having said that, let's do it. Hit me.
All right. So, let me pull up what I want to make sure I grab the right thing for you. Are you a fan of, and I know you are, but this is a rhetorical question just to get me into offering you something. Are you a fan of sci-fi, of like shows that make you think, that...
I think we know that I like those things. I like things that make me ask questions for sure.
So, and we can go two ways with this, but I want to go, I think, the second way that I want to go with this.
I have no idea what's coming, by the way. We haven't discussed this.
Have you ever seen the original, I believe, 50s, 60s Twilight Zone? Have you watched any of that?
Yes. Yeah, so, you know, Broken Glasses Guy at the End of the World, you know, Gremlin Out on the Wing, all those good classics, yeah.
Okay. And so I assume you enjoyed that.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a long time since Nick at Night, but I did enjoy them, you know, 30 years ago when they were regularly on and I would watch them.
All right. So did you know that back in, I think, 2019, 2020, that time frame that the Twilight Zone came back?
I did not. Didn't they do it in the 90s at some point?
there may have been another 90s revival,
Yeah.
or there might have been a revival in the 90s. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm familiar with the one that just recently came out because I stumbled upon it, and talking about choice paralysis, I was streaming through or scrolling through all of my streaming options through my Plex server and just happened to stumble upon the 2019 Twilight Zone and said, you know what, screw it. I love the Twilight Zone. I haven't seen this. It's done by Jordan Peele, who done his part
love
Key and
him. Peele.
He's
knows his way around horror, that's for sure.
Yes, he is a great horror director. He did oh my god, Us. He did Here, I think is the. I'm gonna stop trying to name his movies.
What was it? The alien abduction one where they were Hollywood horse wranglers and
yeah, I thought that was called Here, but maybe not.
Or was that Gone? I can't remember.
Anyway, yeah, this is really
terrible.
good. This is really good. I know he did Get Out.
Get Out for sure. Yeah. Okay.
Us, Get Out, Nope. Nope is the one.
Nope.
Yes. I think
out.
those. Yes. But he has become the new Rod Sterling, as you know, he's the one that introduces these strange stories that only happen in the Twilight Zone.
Okay, I love this. And they're all self-contained episodes, I would assume, like the classic.
They're all self-contained episodes. I really think I'd like you to watch as many as you can. I think there are 20 episodes of the series.
Okay. So this has kept going, I would assume, since 2019 then.
It ended, I think it only got 2 seasons. It ended in 2020.
Okay, they did two seasons then.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it on?
I think it was Peacock.
Okay.
But
that's another thing. So many of these streaming services have so much original content because they have to feed the beast for having their own services. So a lot of that stuff passes me by too without a specific recommendation. So yeah, that's directly in my wheelhouse. So I would have no problem checking that out. I'm kind of looking forward to it now. I had no idea. Jordan Peele
I was wrong just before someone hops into our mentions and corrects me. It was on Paramount Plus.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah.
But the first episode,
same exact situation.
I'm not going to tell you anything aside from you get a lot of, I wouldn't say cameos because they're starring in the episodes, but the first episode has Kumail Nanjiani. It has Tracy Morgan. The second episode has Adam Scott. There's well-known actors that do.
Is this like an American counterpoint to Black Mirror in the modern lens kind of thing?
That's probably a pretty good comparison because I think Black Mirror is basically like the British version of
Twilight Zone. Yeah, brought
just
into
more
a modern
focused
lens.
on tech, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really think. If you can watch the first 2 episodes by next week, I think those are both. I've seen 7 or 8 of the episodes so far, but the first 2 episodes that I saw, the first one's called The Comedian, and the second one's called Nightmare at 30,000 Feet, and they're.
Well, that's my next question. I guess would be: are they retellings of the original Twilight Zone series? Stories like the famous ones, or are they all original, kind of under that banner, or do you not?
As far as I can
tell, don't ruin anything, or
as far as I can tell so far, these are original stories that Jordan Peele has put together under the Twilight Zone umbrella of if you could imagine,
right?
And going through that, like I said, I haven't seen all 20 episodes, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there was a modern retelling of a few episodes.
Well, you said Terror at 30,000 feet. I think of the famous the Gremlin.
Yeah,
on the
I know.
thing.
Yeah, you're thinking of the Gremlin on the. Yeah, this is different.
Or the side of the school bus if you're talking about Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Yeah.
This one's more about a podcast. So the second episode.
Oh, okay.
So it would be pretty fitting for a fledgling podcaster like yourself to listen to.
Fledgling is definitely the word.
But I think that would be a good choice for you, and hopefully I don't strike out on my first pick.
No, I'm coming in totally in the dark, but that's cool because I already know that it's going to be in a genre and a property that I'm familiar with, and that's a comfortable way to ease into the pool versus going in totally in the dark into something. I like going into the dark, but Neat. I'll probably start that tonight.
Sweet.
So I guess I have to give you something now, and it's a game, huh? So we will build full like Excel spreadsheets that we can exchange with each other. That'll include all of our own, backlog of PS4 games and Xbox and Switch or anything like that. But for now, as we're trying to stick this together with tape and glue, we were just looking at each other's, or I guess our shared Steam library items. So anything that Wyatt already has but hasn't played, of which there are plenty for both of us, that I have played. So what I saw in your list was one I played years ago that I believe was universally loved, and that is Bastion. Bastion was released can't find it on the Steam page, but I want to say about 2017. No, good God, 2011. This came out.
Oh, wow.
So I may have played it a little longer ago than I realized. So basically, we had talked about the game that I can't recall the name of ever.
Tunic.
Tunic. Thank you, Fox Zelda.
I don't know why I knew it, but
yeah.
That's the game we talked a lot about.
Similar to Tunic, Bastion is also a top-down, isometric point of view, action RPG type game, adventure, what have you. The environments are all hand-painted, so the art style is really gorgeous.
Oh, cool.
And I think one of the most unique things about it, especially when it came out, is that it has a narrator. So it has a live narrator of what's happening on screen, and like if an enemy kills you, there's a guy talking live that goes, "The kid didn't make it." Or,
so is it like Hades in that sense?
I think, yeah, I guess you could say it's a little like that, but it's kind of constant, and you're really testing my knowledge of this since it's really been a while.
It's been a decade.
I don't think it's been that long, but it's got to be at least 6 or 7 years since I first played it. I'm looking at the reviews here. It's got like solid 90 out of 100, 9/10s out of the across the board. The combat is kind of that roll, dodge, slash attack, very similar to Tunic. I think you'll really enjoy that. It's got great soundtrack. I mean, if there's anything that I've taken away from that game, I still listen to the Darren Korb soundtrack from this game constantly. Like, it is part of my regular rotation. So I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff about it that's important, but I think as far as like a length goes, it's probably maybe around the 20-hour range. Let's look at how long to beat Bastion. That's that website, right? How long to beat.
Great website out there for anyone that is curious how long it takes to beat video games.
Oh my God, you can actually track your backlog on this website. Perhaps this is what we should be using. Okay, so I'll call this pretty perfect for what I think we're trying to do. It lists the main story is 6 hours, main plus sides 9.5 hours, completion is 20 hours, but you're not going to do that. But all styles about 8 hours. I feel like that's a comfortable, meaty place for the length of game that we're trying to go for here. In so much as you're not going to finish it, but maybe it's enough time to get a really good sense of it, get a couple hours under your belt and at least come back to me and say, this is a piece of shit. Why did you ever recommend it to me, you son of a bitch? I hope that's not the outcome, because I really don't think it will be.
I mean, if you had me at Zelda-like and Tunic-esque, like that, unless the controls are absolutely garbage, I can't see myself not loving this game.
Yeah, and great for the audience listening. You can play Bastion. I'm looking at platforms right now on literally anything. It has native releases on Linux, Mac, mobile, Switch, PC, PS4, Vita, 360, and Xbox One. So the PS4 and Xbox One obviously bring it up to the modern. And there you go. You got everything else there. Oh, and I guess Switch would work fine on Switch too. So yeah, everybody has a way to play it. I don't know if that I would like it with mobile controls, but if you can do it. I'm so worthless with touch controls.
That brings up a good point. I know I just touched on it, I believe, at the beginning of this, but if anyone listening wants to, if they haven't seen these things, and they have these things in their backlog, if someone wants to watch the 2019 Twilight Zone or someone wants to play Bastion, we'd love to, know what you
You
guys
think?
think.
Yeah. Or have you
Uh,
played them and have comments kind of thing on why you did or didn't like them? And I suppose Blue Sky for now would be the best place to direct folks for that. Would that be correct?
Yeah, we have a handle on Blue Sky. It is we don't have it yet .bsky.social, and I'll include the link to our profile in the episode descriptions if anyone cares enough to follow along or interact with us there. We also have a Gmail account you can reach us, which is also we don't have it yet at gmail.com.
We'll put these in the episode description too.
Yep. But yeah, if anyone has any even suggestions at some point once we gather up our backlog and stuff, I think it would be fun to have a little more interaction if people wanted to help us choose for each other.
I was going to say, yeah, that'd be really neat is if we can get to the point where, we both have spreadsheets of each other's stuff, and then maybe the audience could help us, pick for the other. Or even, like, you could get into punishment picks. Like, you lost a football bet with me last week, so I'm going to have the audience pick something you haven't watched or played that's known to be completely horrible, and then you have to do it.
We are getting, I think, towards the end of this episode, and I don't think we touched on it yet, but that could play very well. We both just joined Fantasy Football League together this year. So that could be, I assume, most fantasy leagues, you have 2 matchups with your opponent. So that could be one of our rivalry week challenges is, whoever loses, we can do that.
Loser
if
gets
we
a
get
shit
the audience
pick.
involved.
Yeah, I love it.
Either the audience can get involved or, the
like
Wyatt can.
Like you could be really mean about it too. Like you have to beat Superman 64 or something.
Oh, God.
I'm just trying to think of like horrific games. It's really bad movies.
So going on that, did you mention last night that this is the first league you've done in a while, or?
Yeah, man. So I guess when I started playing fantasy football in college, I had to email my lineup in every week, and our scoring was actually tabulated by like somebody sitting there with a calculator and going over stats, very rotisserie baseball style. And I was in that league for 17 years until we finally decided that it had kind of run its course. And so since 2018, I have not played fantasy football. And then I joined up with you guys for baseball last year. That was kind of fun until my team totally fell apart. And I'll be honest, I haven't even set a lineup in a couple of weeks. But football is a little more forgiving in that you only have to do it, once a week. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with my team. I don't know how you feel about it.
Let me do a quick look.
A little draft report here.
Let's see. So you've got Jaden Daniels at quarterback, Nico Collins and Zay Flowers at wide receiver. You've got Josh Jacobs and James Conner at running back, Tucker Kraft at tight end, Jamison Williams and DK Dobbins at your flex. And then your bench, we've got Jalen Warren, Dallas Goddard, Justin Herbert, Joe Flacco.
That was a must pick. That was
that
was all Nick. That was not a football decision. That was playing with my heart and not my brain.
Well, listeners,
he's my third quarterback, for God's sakes.
Listeners should know that Nick is a lifelong Ravens, I assume, and Joe Flacco stan.
Well, I do need to clarify that because there's like a bit of a white trash contingent in Baltimore that rejects Lamar entirely and is like, hey, we gotta see what we gave away Joe Flacco, man. We gotta bring Joe Flacco back. You gotta see what he can do. Now he's over there doing great things. I'm not one of those guys. I did love Flacco. This is like comes out of I think it was when he was playing for the Jets, and he had like this unbelievable half where he just played his ass off, and we're like, damn, he still got it. And then he was coming back with someone the following year that might have been when I think he had been at Denver at that point. Maybe it was the first go around with the Browns, and it was like the opening game that he was going to start. And a buddy of mine and I just like both contributed $100 into like the dumbest long shot parlays that you possibly could, and the dude hit all of them. And so ever since then, the only gambling that I do on football involves Joe Flacco props.
Joe Flacco prop bets.
Just Joe Flacco prop bets for single games. And he's covered more than he hasn't, that's for sure. So it's become it's a buddy of mine from back in Baltimore and I doing this. And it's just become kind of a running joke that, Joe Flacco is a football god. But he keeps showing up again in these like clutch situations and putting on really good performances. I was shocked the first time Cleveland let him go. I'm glad they got him back now. And he's going to be their starter. So how can I not take him as my second backup quarterback? Come on.
So I got to ask you, before we get going.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco.
Yes.
Hall of Fame or no?
I mean, the guy's got a ring and he's got the numbers. Even if does it hurt his chances for everything he's done since the Ravens, or does it increase them?
I mean, I would argue
he's still starting quarterback at 40 years old in the NFL.
Yeah. He hasn't been garbage. Yeah. He's actually, I know that was his knock, I believe, when he was in Baltimore, was that he was, a good game managing quarterback, but he was never, He
was boring. Everybody said he was boring. Yeah, and he wasn't elite, and he was boring. Yeah, I think he's proven otherwise since then in some clutch situations, and he's made some amazing long bombs and stuff like that. And plus, you had the immaculate reception in Denver. There's a direct argument, even though that was kind of luck. But these are all things that go towards sports. Hey, I'll have you know that the AI said drafting from the 10th spot is no easy feat, but Nick has emerged from the trenches with a C+ grade.
C's get degrees, baby.
That's where I live, baby, right in the meat of the curve.
All right, I think that brings us to our time. Once again, this is We Don't Have It Yet, the podcast where we don't really have anything yet, and we're figuring it out as we go.
We should be back next week with some cool things to talk about the implemented concept of this show this time. So we're making progress here.
Let's hope. I'm gonna stay optimistic. We'll see what next week brings us.
We'll see how many tubs of packed stuff that Wyatt gets through this week before he can even consider playing a video game.
Oh God, thanks for making me think about it.
Don't forget you have a real job too. So.
Yeah, speaking of which, my lunch break is over, so I'm gonna hop back into work mode, and we will talk to all of you later. Once again, I am Wyatt, and this is Nick. Who are you?
Hi, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Love you.
Love you.